The Blue Jackets took all of that goodwill from winning against the Winnipeg Jets and promptly wasted it by losing to the Detroit Red Wings. But I think there were some positives in that game, and we've got some roster moves to talk about. So let's get into it on today's Locked On Blue Jackets.
Locked On Blue Jackets, your daily podcast on the Columbus Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am, as always, your host, Jay Foster, here to bring you news, stories, game recaps, game previews, excitement, yelling, ranting, all of the above, and more about your favorite team and mine, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Before we get started, I want to thank everyone for making this your first listen of the day every day. Locked On Blue Jackets is free and available on all podcast platforms and also over on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed over there, then please feel free to do so. It helps me out. It helps you out. You get notified when new episodes go live, and everybody wins. So we love that. Let's get into today's episode. So we're going to start off by breaking down the loss to the Red Wings. Like I said in yesterday's episode, all I wanted from this game was for us not to be embarrassed as badly as the team was last time, and for maybe Ken Johnson to score a goal. And I think I got my wish. The last time these two teams played, I believe Detroit won 6-1 or something stupid like that. I don't have the season series in front of me, but they lost 4-2, which is an improvement, and Ken Johnson scored. He scored a power play goal, even. We're going to talk about Ken Johnson in a little bit because he's doing some really cool things at the minute. But the Blue Jackets did not start out super great, as they tend not to these days. 3-0 by 7 minutes into the second period. 2 power play goals. They took 5 penalties in this game, which frankly is too many. Especially if the penalty kill is going to start leaking, like apparently it has. Goals from Dominic Ostensanek, Dominic Kubalik, and Lucas Raymond. David Perron had a 2-point night because, of course, he did. I hate him. I don't hate him. He's just extremely frustrating. He always seems to score on my teams. And then Marcus Bjork gets his second of the season. Just a real beautiful shot on the power play. And it's all looking pretty good. Well, I say looking pretty good. The comeback is on. They only need one to get it started. Ken Johnson makes it 3-2, 2 minutes into the third period. I've got kind of a good feeling about this. And then Detroit immediately scores, I believe, to make it 4-2. Gets called off because it's offside. I believe that was the Dylan Larkin goal that got called offside. So back to 3-2. Doesn't matter. Red Wings score again, make it 4-2, and the Blue Jackets just can't seem to get anything going despite a very late power play. I believe there was a power play for the Blue Jackets. Yeah, with at 18-12 of the third period, Pierre Suter took an interference penalty against Johnny Gaudreau. So the Blue Jackets had 6-on-4 for the last minute and 50 seconds of the game, and unfortunately, they just couldn't figure it out. Like I said, unfortunate, but for the most part, I did not hate this game. It was a frustrating start, but I think the Blue Jackets kind of picked themselves back up. Shots were 13-8 to Detroit in the first period, and obviously goals were 2-0. Second period, 11-10 to Detroit, and I believe 1-1 in terms of goal scoring, and then the Blue Jackets really picked it up in the third period, which is not something they've been known to do this season. They outshot the Wings 16-11 for a total of 34 shots for the Blue Jackets, 35 shots for the Red Wings. Ville Husso was fantastic in this game, I thought. 941 save percentage, made 20 of 21 even strength saves and 8 of 9 on the power play. He also made 4 shorthanded saves because the Blue Jackets, I guess, are going back to power kill. But we'll see if that sticks around. Something that I want to talk about as well is the The ice time is all kinds of wonky. Vladislav Gavrikov missed, I think, missed all of the second period. I could be wrong there, but he took a puck to the face, missed most of the second period, if not all of it, and then came back with a big fishbowl on. His lower lip was like all swollen and gross. So he only played like 30.5 minutes, which is about the same amount of time that Jay Christensen played, which is frustrating for a different reason. But unfortunately, this means that the Blue Jackets' top two defensemen in that time were Eric Branson and Andrew Peeke. Eric Branson played almost 27 minutes in this game. Andrew Peeke played 23. Andrew Peeke also had 6 minutes and 19 seconds of shorthanded time on ice, which is too much. I will say, extremely funny ice time is the Blue Jackets had 3 power plays, according to this. I think one of them was an offsetting minor. No, I'm lying. So the Blue Jackets took 3 power plays. Marcus Bjork was the only defenseman to log power play ice time in this game. He had 4:47 of power play ice time. I just think that's extremely funny. He played almost 21 minutes. So third on the team in ice time. He genuinely, he continues to impress me, frankly. He keeps getting more and more responsibility, and he keeps stepping up every single time. So he's been a real standout for me in these last few games, even as the team is kind of struggling as a unit. He has been pretty good, I think. I've enjoyed watching him kind of make his NHL debut and go from, getting 12 minutes of ice time or whatever to being one of the guys that they rely on in key situations like the power play. He doesn't get any shorthanded time. He got 16 whole seconds of shorthanded time, but I'm okay with that. It could be worse. I've been really happy with Marcus Bjork. In a minute, we're going to talk about the forwards. There's been a couple of roster moves, one that I'm very excited about. So that's all coming up in just a minute. But first, I've got to tell you about SimpliSafe, because here at the Locked On Podcast Network, we believe that home should be where you and your family feel the safest, especially over the holidays. So this season, give yourself and your family the gift of peace and protection with the #1 rated home security system, SimpliSafe. And right now, SimpliSafe is offering Locked On Blue Jackets listeners 40% off a new security system, but don't put this off because the offer won't be there forever. SimpliSafe is advanced technology. It is crystal clear HD security camera feeds. They've got sensors, so you can tell whether it's, just your cat wandering around or an actual intruder. It was named the best home security system of 2022 by US News and World Report for the 3rd year in a row. And you can stay in complete control of your system as well. They've got an app. You can turn your cameras on. You can turn your cameras off. You can unlock your doors. You can arm or disarm your alarms. You can adjust your system settings anytime, anywhere. So don't miss your chance to save big on this network's favorite security system. You can get 40% off any new system at simplisafe.com/lockedonnhl today. That is simplisafe.com/lockedonnhl. There is no safe like SimpliSafe. So let's talk forwards, because there's been some movement. It looks like Kirill Marchenko is going to be making his NHL debut tonight against the Pittsburgh Penguins, which I'm sure will go great for him and also for everyone on this team, because for whatever reason, the Penguins always play well against the Blue Jackets. However, this does mean probably goodbye to Carson Meyer, at least for a little while. He only played 5 minutes, 50 seconds in the game against the Red Wings. Liam Foudy only got a little bit more than that at 6.5. But it is, I don't know, it is what it is. At this point, Brad Larson has his guys that he likes to play, and I don't think he's going to change that regardless of what happens. I will say Kent Johnson's ice time is creeping up. He got 15 minutes and 18 seconds. So, hey, that's almost a real second line amount of minutes. I do think partially this is Brad Larson having his hands tied by being unable to play Matthew Olivier for 15 minutes a game, but that's beside the point. It looks a lot more now like there are defined first, second, third, and fourth lines. Do I agree with where everyone is on the line and how much ice time everyone is getting? Maybe not. But I do think also it's another ice time weirdness is Eric Robinson played almost 18 minutes on Sunday night. 5 of those minutes were on the penalty kill. Similar situation with Sean Crowley. Except he only played 11 and a half minutes, still played 4 minutes, 45 seconds on the penalty kill. Patrick Laine and Boone Jenner played basically, I think they played all of the power play time, actually. The Blue Jackets, like I said, they had 3 minor penalties, but they scored on one of them, so it would have cut it short. So 4 minutes, 47 seconds of power play time for Marcus Bjork, for Patrick Laine, and for Boone Jenner, which, again, extremely funny. Great to see Ken Johnson getting power play time. I tweeted out yesterday he only had 16 seconds of power play time. I was incorrect there. He had 2 minutes and 5 seconds of power play time. Scored a goal, not on the power play like I thought, but I'm counting it. It is his 6th goal of the season, I believe. Yep, 6th goal of the season. And just to I want to reiterate some of the things I tweeted out yesterday, because he's doing some really fun things as a rookie this season. He's, I believe, tied for 7th in rookie scoring behind, probable Calder winner, Matthew Beniers, and a handful of other guys. But I want to just highlight what he's doing and how he's doing it. So he's got 13 points in 20 games, tied for 7th among all rookies. He's 3 points back of 2nd place. So Matthew Beniers has, as of yesterday, had 21 points. 2nd place had 16. Ken Johnson in 7th place has 13, so 3 points behind 2nd place. He's 3rd in CBJ players in scoring. Only Boone Jenner and Johnny Gaudreau have more points. In all situations, shot attempts for percentage for players over 250 minutes, he's at 53.2%. He has played less minutes than anyone else in the top 15, and he's second only to Gaudreau for healthy Blue Jackets in that same time frame. We add in injured players like Werenski, Boquist, Danforth, and players that have played less than 250 minutes, like Laine, who I believe has only played about 120 minutes because of injuries. He drops to 6th, so he's 3rd among all current healthy Blue Jackets in possession numbers, and he's doing all of that in 12 minutes a game. More interestingly, if you look ahead of him in scoring in terms of who's getting the ice time, he's getting, so far this season, he's played 254 minutes, and he's got 13 points. By contrast, Matthew Beniers has 21 points in 409 minutes of ice time. If you do the points per 60, Kent Johnson is 4th in among rookies who have played, again, over 250 minutes. The only players ahead of him: Matthias Michelli at 3.2, Jack Quinn at 3.12, Matthew Beniers at 3.08, and Kent Johnson at 3.07. I don't know why I keep calling him Matthew Beniers. It's Matty Beniers, but he's basically playing at the same rate of offense generation as Matty Beniers. He's just doing it with less minutes, so he has less points. And, I think that's pretty cool. I continue to be impressed by Kent Johnson. The KJ propaganda machine keeps on rolling. Put him on the top line. Do it. Put him on the top line. Split Gaudreau and Laine up for whatever reason. It's not working right now. I think it will work at some point. I don't think that that's a thing that they should never try again. Put Kent Johnson on that top line. Give Patrick Laine a real center. He's playing with Gus Nyquist and Jack Roslovic at the minute, which I feel like is probably not going to be great in terms of him getting back to his scoring ways. Give him a real center. Give him friggin' Cole Sillinger. And then watch him go. And that as a top 6 feels pretty friggin' good to me. I want to finish this segment before we get into a quick preview of the Penguins game. Jake Voracek sat down with the media yesterday to talk about how he's been out for a while. Concussion. He was diagnosed with a concussion in Finland. Doctors have then basically said, hey, we think you should rest for a while. He seems like he's in, a pretty, not a terrible place, emotionally, but he also talked about how there is a very slim chance that he returns this season. And I think if he doesn't return this season, I think maybe he doesn't return ever, which really sucks for him, for the team. But I want to say, I am super glad that the team is handling this with the care and attention that it deserves. He seems like he's doing okay. He's looking after himself. The team's taking it seriously. But for a guy that I believe Aaron Portsline tweeted out that he's had 7 or 8 documented concussions in his career. like 7 or 8 concussions by the age of, what, 32, 33? That's too many concussions. So I'm really glad that he seems to be getting the medical attention that he needs, and hopefully he continues to improve, continues to get better. I don't know when we'll see Jake Voracek again, but I'm wishing him all the best. Hopefully, all you guys are as well. And with that, let's get on to our game preview against our worst enemies. That's coming up next on Locked On Blue Jackets. So the rules say that we have to play the Pittsburgh Penguins again, even though we just finished playing them like 2 weeks ago. I feel like it wasn't 2 weeks ago; it was a while ago now. But another game against the Penguins, who are doing okay this season. They are 13-8-4. They've got a 2-game win streak. They are, like I said, they're doing okay. I don't think they're doing as well as they maybe want to be, but in a metropolitan division that is, kind of actively on fire, the Washington Capitals are dropping like a stone. The New York Rangers are dropping like a stone. Like, this could be the Penguins could sneak into a playoff spot based on not being as injured or as bad as the other teams. They're currently in a wild card spot. They are 4th in the division. New York is right there behind them. Washington is a couple of points behind them. And then, it starts to drop off to Philadelphia and the Blue Jackets. Will the Blue Jackets win this game? Maybe. If they do, it's going to be on the back of a guy like Johnny Gaudreau, who has 8 points in his last 5 games. Ken Johnson has 2 goals in his last 5 games. The goaltending is doing its best. Jonas Korpisalo has a .905 save percentage. However, Elvis Merzlikins is going to be getting the start. This is going to be his first start since coming back from injury. So, welcome back, Elvis, I guess. Elvis historically doesn't play super well against the Penguins. He was in net for the first game against them, I believe. That finished 6-3 Pittsburgh after the Blue Jackets went up 3-1 and then allowed 5 unanswered goals in the second half of the second period and the third period. I just don't have a good feeling about this game. I hate playing the Penguins. They're a really annoying team to play against. They always play well against the Blue Jackets, and the fans are always really smug. But like I said, I think there's some good things to watch out for here. Like I said, Johnny Gaudreau is really heating up. He's got 26 points in 24 games or 25 games. Which is, 23 games, excuse me. So he's doing, pretty okay for himself. I think if Ken Johnson, his ice time continues to go up, I think he's going to be doing some really good things. Hopefully, Laine had a 2-goal performance against Winnipeg, so he's clearly back and ready to go. I would love for him to score a big goal against the Penguins. Players that we have to watch out for, though, as always, Jake Gensel. He has 4 goals in the last 5 games. He loves to score on the Blue Jackets. 6 points in his last 5 games. Kaapo Kähkönen has 4 goals in his last 5 games as well. So I said Kaapo Kähkönen. I don't mean Kaapo Kähkönen. I mean Kasperi Kapanen. Excuse me. Too many KK names. In terms of just general team stats, the Blue Jackets are outclassed in basically everything. They've dropped back to 32nd on the power play, where the Pittsburgh Penguins are 26th. The penalty kill is 9th in the league versus the Blue Jackets 19th. They're beating the Blue Jackets faceoffs. They are 6th in the league in goals for per game and 17th in goals against per game. Honestly, looking at the stats, my money is on a 3-2 Penguins win. But in terms of some predictions, which I guess we'll have to do, I think, you know what? No, I'm not gonna bet against the Blue Jackets. I've done it a couple of times this season, and it feels bad. So instead of that, we're gonna predict a 3-2 win for the Blue Jackets. I think Johnny Gaudreau is gonna open the scoring because why not? I think he has to at this point. I feel like he's scored more opening goals than any other player on this team, which admittedly they've only scored 23 in total, but I feel like at least 8 of them have been Johnny Gaudreau's. So here's hoping. So that's my prediction. Is the Blue Jackets win? It's going to be messy. It's probably not going to be a very good game. I think it's going to be a pain in the butt to watch and really frustrating. I think Jake Gensel's probably going to get a couple of goals, but I think Johnny Gaudreau's going to open the scoring, and I think the Blue Jackets are going to win. So tomorrow we will break that down. We're going to take a look at Kirill Marchenko's NHL debut, which is happening tonight, which I'm super excited about. Probably going to spend like 18 of the 22 minutes on that specifically. But that's going to be tomorrow's plan. We'll break down tonight's game against the Penguins. We'll talk about Kirill Marchenko in tomorrow's episode. And this has been it for me today. You can find Locked on Blue Jackets wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for making us your first listen of the day. I super appreciate it. Or your first watch of the day. I also appreciate that. We are available on all podcast platforms. We're over on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed yet, please feel free to do so. It's a win-win situation. You get notified when episodes go live. I get to enjoy my subscriber count going up. Like I said, win-win. I've been Joe Foster. You can find me on Twitter at _Jacob Foster, JAKOBFORSTER. You can find the podcast at LO_Blue Jackets. If you have comments, questions, criticisms, you can email me at lockedonbluejackets@gmail.com. And until tomorrow, make sure you stay locked on.